I'm Maddie.
I'm Amber. And we're Witches Talking Tarot.
We are the weirdos in this story.
Like a song, like a sailor snubble. Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble. Sam.
Wow. Hey everybody, I'm Amber.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And today, as part of our season 4 premiere week, we are talking about exorcisms. We just talked about the Catholic Church. So what's the natural next place to go? The Exorcist, obviously. Obviously. I mean, the Pope has his very own exorcist after all. Actually kind of liked that movie. But yeah, so we thought it would be fun to talk about exorcisms. I even wore the only piece of clothing I bought in Salem because I thought if I was going to do an exorcism, I think I'd wear this.
You
think I would. I mean, I feel like it's covered in protective symbols. I mean,
I like it. It's very cute.
I do think that people in the store were probably staring at me like, this fucking Satan worshiper. Oh, we'll get to that later this season too.
Exorcisms are very popular in pop culture, whether it's TV shows or movies.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the famous Exorcist.
The Exorcist. I read that book and it was so good.
I watched it for the first time last year.
I remember.
I don't hate it.
You said you were like, this is horrible. I can't believe that.
So I think the problem with it for me was the hype. I had
back in the 70s though. In the 70s, people had to be taken out of the theaters. They were passing out,
get that.
Puking. Because for the times, it was,
For me, the most disturbing part was the blasphemy that came out of that little girl's mouth. There was a scene where she grabbed her mom's head and shoved it into her vagina.
Yeah,
that disturbed me.
Oh, for me, it was the crucifix that she stabbed into her vagina.
The thing that was most concerning to that was most disturbing to me was the fact that they had a child actress.
Like
it wasn't the content.
Kind of.
It wasn't the fact that she was possessed. It wasn't the content. It wasn't the movie itself. It was the actress, the poor little girl that had to do this. I don't think
Reagan.
They could not.
Oh no, Reagan was her name in the movie.
I don't think that
Blair. Somebody Blair. Linda Blair. Yes, I get you. I do, especially as a mother, because I can't imagine my kids saying those things.
It was
even for money,
for a little girl.
But also, that same little girl is the one that grabbed a crucifix and is doing.
That's why I'm like, that just really bothered me. For the actress, not for the
right. I get you. I get you.
Yeah,
but also, The Exorcist is 1,000,000% based on a true story about a little boy on the other side of our state. I mean, I love that book. Like the book is so
is it a boy
good.
In the book?
No, I mean the book is the same as the movie. The movie is based off of the book, but the book was inspired by this little boy and his true life trials, like real life trials. Because I would like to start this episode off by stating, so that everybody understands, even as I have discussion and conjecture and my opinion that goes out, I 1,000,000% believe that exorcisms can be real. I don't believe that every exorcism is real, nor do I believe that every possession is real. However, I do believe in the possibility of possession, even though I do not necessarily believe in it from a... Here's my thing, and I would like to know where you come. I say I don't necessarily believe in it from a Catholic perspective because I am not a Catholic and I don't follow the church and I don't believe in any of that. And at the same time, I do believe that the Catholic rites can be very powerful in an exorcism, no matter what that is, because the power behind those words and those actions.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I believe.
So I just want to preface this with that.
I believe. Do I think Catholic exorcisms are real? Yeah, I do to an extent. Like everything you just said, but to clarify for me, I believe we have power over demons.
I do
not
too.
the other way around. And so when you're saying these words with the power behind it, like you were saying, then yes, I do think it will work. Whether you're calling upon a god, goddess, or the Christian God.
Right. And I mean, before the Catholic Church, because exorcisms are not specifically Catholic, but the Catholic Church is kind of most people's association with the word exorcism, right? So long time ago, before the church in, I think like the 1000s to 1400s, somewhere in there, they kind of took over exorcisms like as a thing that a priest had to do. Before that, lay people
they could
do it on themselves by invoking the name of a saint. Or, you know, exorcisms have been existing since Mesopotamia. And those people didn't have Catholic saints because Catholicism didn't exist yet, but they could call upon good energies or banish demons from themselves with, you know, just regular what they had available in their religion.
Willpower, beliefs.
Exactly. So, I mean, like, I truly, like, it's so iconic, right? Like, when you think of an exorcist, or when you think of the word exorcist, or you think of the word exorcism, you picture pretty much, you know, the 1970s exorcist, you know? And that is a way that exorcisms happen, but that's not the only way exorcism. I mean, think about TV evangelists. They're, you know, I'm sorry, but, and that is where I say, I believe exorcisms are real, but I don't believe in every one of them.
No, some of them are definitely staged. Dude, did I send you the video?
You know, they're like, bam, the devil's out of you. How is that not an exorcism?
I love them.
I love the fake fake ones. They're great.
They're great. I don't know if I showed you one.
But it's also psychological, so they're not all fake. But we'll get there.
This guy comes up and he's like, my son is autistic and I've done everything I can, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I just want to release this curse from my family. So the pastor starts talking. All of a sudden, he's like, what the?
You said in that video. Sorry, keep talking.
I'm just like, if I was in that situation, would I do some dumb shit just to like do some dumb shit? Or do they really believe it?
Well, I think a lot of kids do.
Yeah. Well,
from that Salem witch trials perspective.
I think a lot of kids do from the mass hysteria perspective. Everybody in church is talking all fucking crazy, you know?
Well, I mean, okay, so in those cases, but I do think like kids that are possessed, a lot of them, it's like, oh, I can get some attention.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not finding fault with that because psychologically there's a reason for that. Like kids don't just pretend to be possessed, not like normal. You know, like I might have pretended to be possessed during a game,
sleepover,
right? But it didn't continue, right? I didn't like my head didn't spin round, you know. I mean, I didn't keep it up like for days and at school, like
like this is still going. We thought it was a bit.
Exactly. I'm sorry, I hurt my throat doing that.
Oh my god.
Which is one of the things that they talk about when they're proving that like an exorcism or that somebody's truly possessed is, you know, she was talking like she was doing this. And then when she came out of it, her throat wasn't even messed up. Her voice wasn't messed up. And as you guys just heard, I totally fucked myself over with that.
So most of the popular exorcisms, when I say popular exorcisms, I don't mean pop culture. I mean real ones that
are known of.
Yes. I think a lot of them are cases of mental illness.
I do
Not
believe
all of
there is.
them,
I do believe there's a vast portion, but and that's, you know, and I guess it what's appropriate, acceptable, respectable, non-charlatan exorcists understand that, and to a degree.
Well, one of the things that I read about the Catholic Church is nowadays you have to undergo a mental evaluation before they just exercise.
And not just now. I mean, like that's been since at least the 70s.
Yeah, because the 70s it became popular in America. All the movies were coming out. Oh my god, I just saw The Exorcist. Help! Something's attached to me.
And in countries where exorcist, like in Rome, for example, thousands of exorcisms, large and small, happen all the time, like every year.
Mhm.
Like they constantly are being exorcised.
Mhm.
And I read a thing about like, are people actually being affected by demonic possession, or is it more of a cultural thing? They're used to, I don't feel good, I'm going to feel better, I'm going to get an exorcism, and it's all mental. And I do
if it is
believe that.
mental, it's
Absolutely.
working.
It is working.
It's
right.
working. Like
Right.
I'm a
Because,
big
like,
thing in like, what the fuck is a
Religion
placebo if
is
it's
a
working?
placebo. Right.
Right.
Well, I mean, but
But if it's
That's-
working,
but
you know,
a placebo is still like a sugar pill is still a sugar pill. You know what I
Right.
mean? It goes down smooth. It goes down sweet. Maybe you just needed a little bit of candy in your life.
right?
It works. And I get what you mean by that. But at the same time, it's like the placebo works. That doesn't necessarily mean the person was possessed by a demon.
Right.
But I think it's like in those cultures where it's widespread that you get exercised, right?
Yeah.
I think that it's not self-love. It's like your own personal demons that you're having exercised. Literally, it's your own personal demons that you're having exercised. Not necessarily that the devil has taken hold of you.
Mhm.
Generally speaking, when we talk about, or when we think of, when we think of exorcisms, we think of Asmodeus, or what's the name of the one in the Ed and Lorraine movies, which we will talk about
I
next
have
week.
no idea.
I can't remember. There was a name, but anyway,
There's
like, because in an
Nimrod.
exorcism, when you Ramrod,
Nimrod is
Nimrod is
one
one
of
of
them.
them.
What is
As
it?
a-
It's like a clown. It's not a clown, but it's like a clown.
Right, there's a lot of
You
different
know?
demons, because like there's the Lord of Flies and Rot or something. He's a specific demon. And, each demon has a specific name, and the demonology. Maybe we should do an episode on demonology.
I would love to. I love demonology. I love angelology as well. And we could do
that would be a week.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be fun.
That would be fun. So, but like in demonology, every demon has a name, right?
And a purpose.
And when the exorcist knows the name of the demon, they have power over them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now,
and I do believe that. I do. Because I think not just, I was going to say not just demons, but spirits in general. But I do.
But if it's a spirit that's taking you over for a negative, it's a demon, right?
Yeah, so I do think that.
Like, I stumbled over my words earlier when I was trying to like lay out for everybody before we get into any discussions, like where my beliefs are. I was stumbling over my words from the perspective of, I was starting to go like, because I generally associate demon with like Christian religions, really, or I guess Abrahamic religion. But then I was thinking about it, like, any kind of evil spiritual entity, I do believe, is demonic,
like
and not
genius,
right? Yes, and not from a Catholic perspective, but because the Catholics put so much focus there, that's why I truly believe like their rites of exorcism have a lot of power, even if you're not Catholic.
Oh, I absolutely agree. It's the same thing. Like, I guess we'll get more into this when we eventually talk about angelology and demonology. There is just as much knowledge and information about demons as there are angels in the Catholic Church, and it's so interesting. I think that's why I like reading about some of the things that they believe when it comes to these two different things.
Yeah, no, and
angels are awesome. They're really cool to learn about.
To me, it's so funny that I learned from a Catholic that there's a faction of Christians that are like, they're anti the angelology, or like the different named angels in
because they think
the Bible,
they're idolizing them, or
right, or they're like, I don't know how they put it, but basically it was really, those are treats. Go on. Sorry, puppies. But like they saw it as almost blasphemous that the Catholics focus so much energy on learning about angels and the different angels, because like other Christian sects are like, well, you should just be focusing on God and Jesus. And I thought that was really weird, because angels come into play all over the place, not just Catholicism. And I didn't know about like that inner hate. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
but like my client, she was Catholic and she was complaining about
a lot of people consider Catholic because of their focus, or Catholicism because of their focus on the angels and the demons comparison to paganism. Because some of you, they'll even pray to saints and they'll even pray to angels, obviously not demons. Well, that's praying to something that is not God, which means you're pagan. It's very interesting. That'll be really fun episodes.
It's interesting that you put it that way, because it kind of goes back to the last episode where I was talking about how like the Catholic Church seems to kind of do opposite of what they kind of preach a little bit. And that also, it's like, you know, like the Slavic peoples, for example, they were the last ones that the Catholic Church overtook, and they basically just took Catholicism on as a cloak over their own pagan customs.
Right, like the Catholic, or I'm sorry, like the Irish, right?
Well, I mean, even the Slavs, even more so, because like Slavic Eastern Catholic priests hold their like holy rituals in the same place where the pagan idols are and where the pagans worship, because in Slavic pagan beliefs, you worship on hillsides, at trees. There are certain places that are the holiest, and that's where we worship. And they don't, like, they have churches, but when they do like certain rites and things, they go to the pagan places because the people won't go in the church for that, because ultimately they are still practicing their deep pagan beliefs. And they put Catholicism on as a pretty robe over their pagan belief systems so that they wouldn't get murdered by the Catholic Church, because they saw what happened, you know. But at the same time, you know, the Irish also, like, there's a vast degree of, with Catholicism specifically, where it's just pretty trappings over the pagans that were already there. Because I mean, think about like we talked about in the last episode, the Vatican itself has all these pagan idols that have to do with Rome and other countries. You know what I mean? And then you've got the Irish, that Saint Bridget is the goddess Bridget. You know? So like they all kind of did that. I mean, that's why I like Catholicism the best out of all of the Abrahamic religions, because Catholicism has the pomp and ritual that everybody else seemed to kind of give up because it was too pagan. Right. And that just kind of furthers my belief on what I was saying in last episode about the Catholic Church, because they are definitely misrepresenting.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
it's
just for control.
Yeah.
And I like exorcism is very much the same, because like, here's my thing about the Catholic Church's stance on exorcism in, like, let's say like the 90s or so, where they're like, we don't do exorcisms. That's stupid. That's silly. But really they were doing exorcisms. But B, how on Sunday morning are you going to preach, and Wednesday evening going to preach, not letting the devil into your house, not letting Satan in? You got to live for God. You have to do these things. Demons are real. But then when it comes to like this kid's or this person, maybe not just a kid, maybe it's an adult, but this person is possessed by a demon, and the church is like, oh no, possession's not real.
Well, that's the problem with the Catholic Church, and it's an inside joke with a lot of Catholics as well. Well, you do all this and that all throughout the week, and then Sunday you're good. You know, and it is a fucking inside joke.
Yeah, because like, my former best friend in like middle school, her mom had said, you know, they were Catholic, and her mom did go to Catholic church. She was very devout. She actually thinks that we're living in the end times. She thinks this is the end times. Like, the rapture has already happened, and we're the people who are left.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to take with that, but
you go to church on Sunday.
But she's like, the Catholics are anti-gambling, but here they are supporting a big, like having their own bingo to make money.
Exactly. Like it is an inside joke. As someone who grew up with a Catholic grandmother and a Catholic father,
I mean, my mom was
Catholic,
an
inside fucking joke, and they know it, and they do that.
Well, because like my mom told me about Catholicism because she was raised Catholic, and her reasoning for telling me about Catholicism is here's why we're not Catholic.
Yeah.
That's seriously, because like my mom's still a Catholic on the books. Like with Catholicism, you have to be on the books. Like if you're not on the books, you're not a Catholic. Like
the look people
if
give
you're
you.
in the books, you're Catholic. If you're not, you're not. And she never truly left the church, and she wasn't excommunicated. So as far as the Catholics are concerned, she's still Catholic, which I find highly interesting because that church is like, oh no. Unless we send you away, you're not going anywhere.
The
just find
amount
that
of
really
looks
funny.
you get in the Bible Belt saying that you're Catholic is hilarious.
Oh yeah, Catholics do get some hate.
Oh yeah.
I mean, beautiful. How are you gonna? I mean,
Because they're
actually,
so close to pagans. Like that has a lot to do with
I
it.
was thinking of kids.
yeah,
because I was
that
like, how are you
too.
gonna hate on Catholics? And I was like, never mind.
Well, that
But, like-
became a big, that was like a thing. But
Well, and I find here's the thing that I don't know if it went with that last episode or if it went with this episode. But I'm gonna mention it in this episode because when I was doing my exorcist research or exorcism research is when I like had this thought process. But like exorcists are always priests now, right?
Mhm.
And priests aren't supposed to get married and have kids, right? And they haven't been for like ever, right? So here's my thing. Like humanity is pretty big on the whole like, oh, we're gonna carry on the family work. Like this guy was really good at this and his kid's really good at it too, you know, and they're gonna keep the line going, right? Why was the church against that? Why was the church like, oh no, you're a vessel of God. You shouldn't carry your line on at all. Like you should join our ranks of being a priest or a nun, and then your genes go nowhere. Like I find that highly interesting, and it was because I was reading about the I was reading about the Spanish Inquisition as it was related to the Pope's exorcist because I watched that movie, and it brings up like the Pope's exorcist, or the guy who is the head exorcist for the Vatican, Father Amorte, who died back in 2016. Oh yeah, so I guess I should say he was for like over 50 years the exorcist for the Catholic Church, or like the head guy. He was like their exorcist. And he believed that Hitler and Stalin were both possessed. So he believed that they were actually godly Catholic people.
I could see that.
Who were possessed by demons, and that's why they participated in World War II. And from the line, if I was Catholic, that makes perfect sense.
That does make sense. I mean, I'm not saying I necessarily believe it, but if somebody could do something so fucking evil, it makes sense that they would be possessed.
So in the movie, and I was trying to find like, is there an actual conspiracy about this or not? And I couldn't, so I didn't really mention it in the last episode. But I think, you know, it makes sense here when we're talking about exorcisms and exorcists. There in the movie, it talks about the first Grand Inquisitor for the Spanish Inquisition was possessed. And that's why he was just like fucking killed a shit ton of people by way of torture. And like, you know, all their souls went to hell. And really, he was possessed by Asmodeus. And that, you know, like the Spanish Inquisition itself was created by a demon because he wanted to wreak havoc in the Catholic world. You know?
Does make sense.
It does.
I'm not saying I necessarily
right?
agree with it, but I am saying it makes sense.
Right.
But I also believe,
exactly what she said.
guys, if you're not subscribed to our Patreon, you should totally do so. Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Death by DVD.
Pam.
Victoria.
I believe that there's a conversation we have in one of our Patreon only episodes where we discuss maybe we talked about it and not just in our Patreon only episodes, but in a previous episode. Check out last season. Souls, good or bad. If someone quote unquote has a bad soul or a demon soul, would that just be possession? You know, because I'm over here like, oh, I just don't believe somebody could be so awful and have a soul. But then you mentioned Hitler. Was he possessed?
Well, and see,
you know
like,
I mean?
that makes sense. Because, like, I don't believe in evil souls.
Right.
I only believe in an empty vessel that has the ability to just live as an evil soul.
But could
like,
an empty vessel be possessed if there was nothing inside it?
Well, I think it would be taken over. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I do think so. But it makes sense to me that, you know, somebody that could do something so horrible and wreak so much havoc on humanity. Because if you think about World War II, it literally changed the way, just like the C word, the C from 2020, right? Not any kind of people, right? Okay. That changed our lives forever. You know what I mean? Like, nothing is the same anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you Walmart's not 24 hours.
War is not the same anymore.
Right. Well, any kind of war, right? So it's like that wreaked havoc on humanity. The Inquisition.
I love how you
wreaked
went
havoc
to
on humanity.
Walmart's not the same anymore.
No, I'm just like trying to explain, like, you know,
Damn it,
our
I
world
missed my
completely
24-hour
changed.
Walmart.
Right. And 24-hour McDonald's and 24-hour Taco Bell and 24-hour all of this.
Breakfast from McDonald's.
Somebody had to work those shifts, and maybe those people are happy that they don't have to work overnight shifts, but maybe they worked overnight shifts because they needed something that was offset from their partner so that they didn't have to pay for childcare. Who knows? But anyway, that's not my point. My point is, like, World War II completely changed the way we live, and it completely changed the way we live in America in all the bad ways that we've talked about. Like, we talked about It's Not Just, and how they feed us fake food, and, you know, they try to control our lives in all these ways. And all of that behavior was bred out of what happened after World War II, because we lost so many people and the country was terrified, and
we needed food.
So we have this mass farming now, and we pump our stuff full of
macaroni
hormones
and cheese.
And we have all those quick meals that's got chemicals in it because they figured out chemicals. They just didn't know they were bad for us. How did you not know they were bad for us?
I'm trying to think. So there was like macaroni and cheese was one of them.
Those TV dinners.
Oh yeah, Hamburger Helper was that 80s or 70s?
I think that was the 70s. So that wouldn't necessarily have been born out of the war, but at the same time, it was just down the line. And without World War II happening, would we ever have gotten to Hamburger Helper?
I'm sitting here trying to think instant pudding. You know, like a bunch of the instant mashed potatoes, Spam. But Spam
it was to
more,
make life easier and to make food go further.
Spam was really big in Hawaii and Japan. But I like Spam. I know you'd be making that face. People don't like. I love Spam.
I actually loved Spam when I finally
it's
tried
so
it.
good.
I wasn't raised on Spam. Like, I think my dad hated it. I had to eat stuff.
Dude,
anyway,
Spam is good as shit, but it's so salty.
When my husband and I were separated, and I was po as fuck, we'd have Spam and eggs sometimes because that's what I could afford. And I have a connotation of Spam and eggs is because I had $7. You know what I mean?
It's so funny you say that.
Mental, but Lolly loves it. She like fries that shit up.
I love Spam, and it's funny you call it poor people food because it's $5 a fucking thing.
I didn't call it poor people.
No, I'm sorry.
Said I associate it with that time of my life because that was the only time I ever ate it.
Yeah,
I don't think of it that way because I know it's not cheap. But I associate it with a really bad.
It used to be treat. It used to be because I grew up on it.
Yeah, that was why
now
we're
it's
eating Spam and eggs.
$5 a thing of Spam. I'm like, damn, I can't even afford Spam. But
that one, yeah, she's the one.
I do like Spam,
and I mean, I don't hate it. I didn't grow up on it. The only time I ever ate it was a very bad time of life. So that is my only association. That's why I make that face because.
It's like a delicious saltiness, and it can last forever.
It is so good.
It can last forever.
I had so much fried Spam when I could still eat meat.
Oh yeah, fried Spam. That's what we do. We fried that bitch up. Dude,
but
I'll eat it raw.
I have to make that face because it's the mental association. Because when I could still eat meat, corned beef hash and roast beef hash, my favorite childhood lunches. My mom
really?
Oh yeah,
but homemade, not canned, right?
Oh no, canned.
Ew! I'm
so
sorry,
good.
That was rude.
No, it's fine. It's just like everybody's got different tastes, but like there's still a can of corned beef hash or roast beef hash I bought for myself, and then I found out I couldn't eat meat anymore. You know, and I was like, oh well, this is way too fucking greasy if I can't handle.
I'm trying to look. I know this is not what the episode is about.
Hash is so good. I miss hash. I make vegetarian hash, but it's not the same.
Hash.
So seriously, I ate a lot of canned meat growing up, just not Spam. And like my kids, they love Vienna sausages. Like most people are like, that's disgusting. My kids love that shit.
Oh God, I hate them. But
My
kids love them.
Yeah, I grew up
remember-
on them. I remember mowing down on Vienna sausages. And then like I was getting the girls those little baby meat sticks that you get, right? And I was eating it. I was like, this is just a Vienna sausage, but like 5 times as expensive. So once they were toddlers, I switched over to Vienna sausages because like 50 cents a can or something versus what that little jar is like $5, $3.58 something. I don't know.
I'm looking. I can't
know.
help but I know this is not the topic, but
I know because I'm over here like, how can I make canned meat go back to exorcisms?
applesauce cake was a thing in World War II. I have heard of that. I've never had. Maybe I
I've
have.
had it.
It's where they use
Applesauce instead of eggs and butter or eggs and oil. Yeah, because there wasn't a whole lot. You know, everything was being sent overseas.
Mhm.
You know, the women were working for the first time ever, which they loved.
So condensed milk was a big
A
thing.
league of their own. They're playing baseball.
Right.
I mean, it really did change the world because when you think about it, after the war, the women went home again, and now all of a sudden they don't want to be there.
No, because they got a taste.
They got a taste. Yeah, they were like, this shit's awesome, and like lesbian relationships flourished out of World War II.
And gay. Let's
Well,
be
it's
clear.
like,
well, I don't know. They didn't have much.
Okay,
time.
I was thinking of the ladies back home.
Yeah.
I was, no offense, gentlemen, I was only thinking of the ladies back
like,
home
oh,
and
my
how
husband's away at work.
exactly they didn't even have to sneak around.
No,
they're like, do you want to bring the kids over for a play date?
Do you want to live with me? We can.
Yeah.
We can save.
We can
money.
say, yeah, we can split bills.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, your husband died in the war. I'm moving.
I'll take care.
Oh my
of
God,
you.
we are not making fun of you, ladies. Like,
No,
you did
absolutely
a
not.
great
It's
service
fucking
to
awesome.
every. Yeah, like we are glad you got to live your best
They got
life,
the what is
even
it?
if it was
The
an icky way to
lady
get
with
it.
her hair.
Rosie the Riveter.
Is that she got the ribbon in her
Yeah,
hair?
Rosie the
I
Riveter.
read that
She
red
was
lipstick.
riveting.
Red lipstick was a sign of women in World War II because they did certain jobs, like they were nurses, American nurses, so they would wear red lipstick, and so that was a sign.
That makes sense because I've seen a lot of planes and like World War II craft, whether it was aircraft or boat craft, that would have like red lipstick kisses on.
Yes,
them. And I was like, well, that's just sexist.
No, it was
also
because red is America.
And you know what? Like non-American, the fucking witches in Russia that they were terrorizing the Nazis at night, and they helped win the war.
Oh yeah.
Because like the men got all the good craft. They were dubbed something the flying witches or something like that by the Nazis. And they had like fucking wooden planes and shit. They had to like push each other off to get off the like they fucking like I'm pretty sure that back when Prime Diner podcast did an episode about them, I think. And they were talking about how like one woman's flying the plane and there's other women that are like on the fucking wings of these wooden
just trying to hold it in place.
No, to shoot.
Oh shit.
Yes, to just and they're like going through the Nazi camps at night. The men aren't flying at night, no danger to them. Like one of the like best women, she ended up dying because like they're in like Siberia and Russia and there's like snow and everything. And I know nothing about flying, but apparently like she kind of got like flipped upside down and ended up flying into a mountain that was covered in snow.
Women in war
because she thought it was open air or something. Like,
sad.
and she was one of their trainers.
I love I can't. It's so empowering to hear different women in war stories. Like the Civil War, World War I, World War II, the prostitutes.
Now I have to look up what they were called.
The prostitutes in these wars were really a secret weapon. I mean, because you've got these bitches and they're all like, oh, I'm sad, the war. Oh, by the way, yeah, we're supposed to invade tomorrow and I just don't want.
They were called the Night Witches. Sorry.
No, it's okay. And they're like, yeah, we're supposed to invade tomorrow and I just don't want to. I can tell you because you're just a prostitute. And they're like, yeah, I'm just a prostitute.
You mean the honeypots.
Yes, I love. Yeah, that's right.
The swallows.
Oh God, is that what they were called?
In Russia, their female agents, their female spy agents were called swallows, and the men were called
No.
something else. Maybe the women were starlings and the men were I think there were sparrows and swallows, but
Oh
I'm
my
not
God,
sure.
yeah, that is so
Because
funny.
either way, whoever was swallows was probably swallowing.
I mean, it's not even far-fetched because, like, I mean, these men, they have. I was actually watching a TikTok about a sex worker, and she was like, "People talk so much shit on me, but they don't realize I'm basically a therapist. Like, because these people are lonely. They
also ain't gonna talk shit on you. Like the things that you have to, that whether you have to or choose to, like.
But she was specifically talking about, like, yeah, the guys I get that come in, they're lonely, they're sad, they're divorcees, they miss their wives, and they sit there and they just, a lot of times they'll be done in like 10 minutes, and then they spend the rest of their hour just talking.
Right.
And like, I'm over here like, that's how we won the war.
That's so
They're
funny.
lonely.
But I mean, okay, so before we get back to just straight exorcisms, let's explore the Father Amort's theory that Stalin and Hitler were possessed. So do you think that as they're orating to, because like everybody says, like Hitler won the war because of his oration, or not won the war. He was able to win the election to whatever the fuck he was for Germany when and then started the war. But that was all because he was such a great orator. He was such a good public speaker, which again, if he's possessed, like that makes sense. But so do you think that he was able to control the German population, or do you think they almost came under a possession themselves, right?
I think that the Bible says, and I'm speaking because we're talking
we're just, this is just conjecture. Obviously, nobody fucking knows.
Those, and I believe this too, as a whole, there are those who can speak in false tongues and just bewitch the fucking community. And so do I think they were under possession? Not necessarily, but I think a demon could tell somebody something they wanted to hear and almost bewitch them.
Well, and I absolutely think that first one, like a demon can, just bewitch the whole population. Absolutely believe. However,
I mean, it's happening now.
However, damn you.
They say what it's just like we had talked about. I don't know if it was season 1 or season 2, a truth serum, for example.
Yes.
It's all about how you talk to someone. It's all about saying it's would that be considered a possession or a spell over or bewitched?
Right. But also, like, my other train of thought, because the reason I asked the question is, like, some very powerful demons are said to be able to occupy more than one body at a time. So if Hitler is possessed by this demon and he's getting into the dark places of the populace, that's allowing the demon spaces to crawl in.
I'm gonna sound weird when I think it's a demon rising an army of multiple demons. So I don't think it's one demon possessing. I would think it would be one demon making people vulnerable to other demonic possessions. I don't know though.
I don't know, like, because I've seen so many
powerful fucking demon.
Well, but there's a lot of demons that, if you look into the lore, there are several demons that can possess like multiple members of a family or a household or all the nuns of a monastery. Like there's written records.
But those are so
written
strong.
records.
Well, I say that,
but that's so strong. Hitler. But this was
I know. I'm like, well, that was this was
Hitler,
that's
what that is why. Like, if it was just some regular like little thing, I might not think that. But because of the magnitude, I go, whether it's whether it's what I thought, what I think, or what you think, either way, that is a powerful demon to be allowing that. And so some might say, well, where was the exorcism, right? If he was, well, for one, if Hitler, did pass away in April, I think it was April, right? I think it was my dad's birthday. Anyway, but if he did pass away, right? So like the demon's not going to die. It's just his vessel has gone away, right? And he slithers back into the recesses or whatever. Or, during World War II, there was a group of witches in the UK that performed energy work to try to thwart Hitler. Maybe because lay people can exorcise demons. They're trying to thwart the power that's allowing him to win the war. They could be, exercising him, with their energy work. And maybe that's why he didn't make the decisions that would have won him the war, because he got exercised. And then, well, now he's just a dude who's got to deal with the fact that the whole world wants to kill him. You know what I mean? And so he starts, his turning tail and fleeing. This is all conjecture. It's just an idea based on a thing that somebody else said.
It's a very interesting theory when it comes to possession. It's also making me really want to watch some Christoph Waltz movies, because I fucking love him. He is so good. I was just watching Django. So now I'm like, I need to watch Inglourious Bastards, because that's a fucking good one.
I don't care how bad Brad Pitt's accent is.
God, I hate it.
I love those dudes. I
love the opening, or not the opening. I'm just kidding. I don't love that scene, but the opening with Brad Pitt, when he's like, I want some Jewish American soldiers.
Yeah, buddy.
And his accent fucking sucks.
Dude, like when he said that, I was like, this is going to be an amazing movie.
I know. Jewish American.
Yes. Beat them. Beat their asses.
I love it. I love the cast.
You know what? I'm not for revenge, but when it comes to World War II and Nazis, revenge. I'm all for it.
Soldier,
Yeah,
like that was awesome.
I am all for
on
it.
On the topic of pop culture, but back on the topic of exorcism, I have to mention Supernatural. How can I not mention Supernatural? I know you said you didn't watch it a lot. Oh my gosh, it's actually so good.
They're like, it's not. I just never got into it. I was having kids when it came out.
I watched it not in order. It was just one of those, this show about the two brothers fighting the monsters is on, I'm gonna watch it. And then I started watching it in order. It's so good.
Yeah.
The way that they perform the exorcism, they actually have the words of one of the exorcisms, because there's two, I think. There used to be a bunch of grimoires with exorcism words that the Catholic Church took over in, like, what was it, the 1500s? I don't fucking
know. Yeah, they have specific rites of exorcism.
Yeah,
like,
so they do a specific one.
Yeah,
so they do an actual specific one. It's very interesting how they have it go about. Of course, the demon, the light comes out of the eyes and mouth, and then it's gone. I actually prefer their depiction of angels. I can't lie. Oh, I love it so much. I love Gabriel. I love Gabriel so much. And when they had death, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
They introduced death, and because they're talking about Revelations. First of all, the motherfucker pulls in vintage white Mustang. That's badass in itself, because what does death ride in on? A white horse. So they have him pull in, right?
No, that's clever.
It was fucking awesome.
I'm over here like, a Mustang? Why not a better car?
Because it's a horse.
I get it.
So
a Ferrari is also a horse.
Oh, that's true. So he gets he gets out of the car, and as he's walking, they're playing that old bluegrass song, "Oh Death," which I love. I think it's on, like, "Oh Brother Where Art Thou?" It's on a bunch of movies, right?
Yeah.
This asshole, like, runs into him, and he's like, "Hey, watch where you're going." And Death is like, and that motherfucker falls, heart attack, just on the ground. Like, oh dude, it was so good. It was so good. I love, and I guess he's technically an angel, the angel of death.
Right.
But, like, I like how they have the angels talking. We've got Castiel, which is a real angel from Catholicism, and you've got Gabriel, and they talk,
like, all you're talking about Supernatural, and I'm just thinking of Good Omens.
The way that they talk, they call God Dad. And I love that when they're having a conversation, because they're fighting because God's disappeared. Like, where the fuck is he? We don't know. Angels are running amok. Demons are running amok. So they're like, bro, what the fuck? And then Gabriel's like, I'm not fucking going back. I'm not gonna. What?
Have you ever watched Good Omens?
No.
I've seen the first. Is the guy from what's that show about the 60s Ad Men? Is it called Ad Men?
I know what you're talking. I know the cast. I haven't seen it though.
I love him
David
as
Tennant.
I love him as Gabriel. I love David Tennant
Mhm.
as the bad demon. I can't remember his character's name, and I do love little homie. He was from Lord of the
Michael?
Rings or The Hobbit.
Michael something.
Is he the blonde one? That's the
Yes.
good angel.
Yes.
I
Yes. yes.
love him, but I love Gabriel. Like, I don't know why. I just love the way they cast that guy as Gabriel. I love the way they cast all the angels and demons.
Oh,
I'm
I
just
love
like,
it. Like he did the Michael guy, a dramatic reading of "Do Not Go Gentle" into the Good Night, and it was beautiful, and it just gave me chills because that's one of my favorite poems. It is beautiful. It's beautiful when you hear what it's about, and it's about the act or the poet had come home to see his dad dying. His dad was sick and dying, and so he's telling his dad, who's the strongest person he knows, why are you just going gentle into that? You know what I mean? Fight, rage against the light. So every time I hear it, I get goosebumps, and I'm like, seeing the strongest person you know not fight. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. It made me cry. He did it. Oh, it was so beautiful. It was such a beautiful piece. But on the topic of supernatural, it's super good. You guys should watch it. I love it when Castiel brings Dean out of hell. And he said, I am so sorry.
You're good.
I am so sorry. It was
so you're fine.
It was such a very good dramatic reading.
No, it is a beautiful piece. I don't know that I knew
the story behind it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was rough. It makes you feel, and that is what art is. Whether it's poetry, whether it's paintings, it makes you feel. Some make you feel good, some make you feel sad, some make you feel good sad. And to me, I feel like that specific poem and the meaning behind it is you feel a sort of desperation, a sort of longing. It is sad, but it's also not horrible. You know what I mean? Because like in the poem, I think he says, and some men accept the night or something like that. You know what I mean? So like it's a very good emotional journey to go on. Yeah. I love art.
Sorry, y'all. My dad just cornered me to talk about his dad.
Sorry.
So like normally I can hold my shit better. Oh, sorry. I was just that was I am close to home. No, you're fine. I'm just like the audience is like, what the fuck is wrong with Amber? I was just a little close to home.
but it's beautiful. You should definitely see his because he was just straight acting right there, like begging, and it was great. But
I bet it was beautiful. He is a very expressive actor.
Oh, he was, or he is. But yeah, it's really good. There's like the scene where Castiel like brings Dean goes to hell because he makes a deal with a demon to save his brother.
Right.
You know?
Right. I know a lot of different plot lines from the show. I've just never actually watched it.
When he meets Castiel, it's fucking awesome. Like, you know, it's a huge storm. You've got the black wings, the angel type black wings. And he's like, oh my God, who the fuck are you? All right. And then Castiel's like, I'm the one who gripped you tight and raised you from perdition.
Damn. That is sweet. And like what I like about that is it makes that whole like, okay, so that whole world, right? That right there, that is the world in which like Catholic people who believe in exorcism live in. You know, so they live in a world where the demons can overtake you and the angels can lift you up, which is why which is why like lay people used to be able to just call on the name of an angel to exorcise themselves, right? And what I found really interesting was the fact that, you know, exorcism is huge in the old world, right? It's huge in the old world, but it is a part of Catholic baptism. You're exorcised before you're baptized, and you're exorcised, and then you're anointed with oil which was also exorcised
Mhm.
before you're baptized as a Catholic, which I did not fucking know.
Oh yeah,
Because like they exorcise everybody. Every Catholic has been exorcised.
It's all very interesting, and it's all in supernatural.
Yeah, and I like the way they bring that world together, because it's like, you know, sometimes I say, let's put ourselves in the shoes of these people. This is how they see the world. That show encompasses
it really
the way
does.
a lot of
It
people see the
mentions
world.
Metatron, who is a real angel in the Bible.
Mhm.
It mentions Galadriel, and Galadriel's like I love.
I just like the name.
Yeah, Galadriel's not talked about often because he was all but almost erased from the Bible. And he was the one that was charged with watching Eve and Adam. And he got distracted and he ate the apple. And you can argue he got distracted by Lilith. I don't know. You know, that's an argument.
You could argue that he got distracted because he was supposed to.
Right. Exactly. You could, right? So he was kind of tossed aside. I like the way they depict Lucifer. First of all, there's a scene where this fucker comes in and he's just, oh my God, it was just so cool. Like, I'm sorry, I will stop talking about that. But like he comes in and he's like, what do you say, Sam? Fatal gold against your soul? To say I'm better than you? I was like, they know what
Charlie.
I know
Daniels,
they fucking did that. It was so good. He's like, I'll bet if it'll get a gold against your soul, I got this. You know what I mean? I'm like, this fucker is charming. Like,
yeah. Well, and so you mentioned Lucifer, who's also another name for Satan.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
When it comes to exorcism, because we can keep talking about supernatural in this,
yeah,
I may cover this
uh-huh.
question. But do you ever hear about people that are possessed by Satan versus a demon?
Okay, so here's my thoughts on this. Yeah,
and
that's special.
Well,
like,
yeah.
But I do think it has happened. But
does it ever happen on that show?
Oh yeah, that's how he comes back. Like he's in the vessel. But the thing is, he's so powerful that he just destroys the vessel. The vessel gets sick,
and that makes sense to me, like 1,000,000%. Because how else is the devil going to walk around on Earth other than getting into a human vessel? But like you said, you're not that special because he's that powerful, so he's going to destroy a human body.
Yes. So somebody who's very like healthy and strong, and then you know, but the thing is with the devil and with
like
demons,
mother's milk.
This is where I'm confused.
And did Satan possess mother's milk?
God. Okay.
Have you seen at all of the latest season?
No, not yet.
He withered away. And like, I'm legit genuinely worried about that actor. I don't look into stuff because like I don't need to know. I looked up something about all dogs go to heaven.
I think I know what it is. It's
about the little girl
who died, and then like what's his face had to record the recording.
Did you read how she...
Oh yeah, that's horrible. Fuck that guy.
She was Ducky's voice.
Yeah, that was sad. But
I'm all up in the feels.
So my question is, this is where I get a little confused. Okay.
So anyway, worried about mother's milk.
Possession.
Satan possesses you. You die. We're back on where we were.
In the terms of possession, what are your thoughts? Do I think an angel can possess a human? Absolutely. I think the difference between an angel possessing a human and a demon possessing a human is the angel is going to ask for permission, whereas a demon is just going to take over. I say that, as I say that out loud, there are plenty of demons that ask for permission.
Well, there's plenty of angels that do whatever the fuck they want. So I'm all like, would they ask permission? I mean, was Mary asked if she wanted to have a virgin birth, or was she told? Guess what? She was told, right? So it's like, do I think okay, so
would it be called possession? I mean, yeah.
There you well, see,
possession means to take over.
Right. So I think an angel might try to guide somebody.
Well, hold on. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Didn't Gabriel had to come in the form of a human to talk to Mary because he's too fucking scary. So a lot of angels take the forms of humans, not all the time, but sometimes to talk to people. Would they be possessed?
I thought he came as a light.
No, I thought, did he come to Joseph then? One of them had a dream. He came to both of them, but one of them specifically had a dream and he was a man.
I mean, maybe I just think of it like, because I think of angels as balls of light personally. Like, that's how I think of like energy. So, it's like, does my brain just remember it that way? But I swear it doesn't really matter, I guess. But I'm over here like, can an angel take on the shape of a human without taking over a human body? I do believe so. I believe that angels have enough power over somebody's mental capacity. Like, absolutely, they have enough power over that to be like, make you think that you're seeing something that's familiar. Because, like, actually, even in pop culture, there's been alien and angel things in pop culture where it's like, I'm just taking a form that's comfortable to your mind.
Right,
You know what I mean? So I don't think an angel, personally, this is my personal belief, I don't think an angel would take over a person so that they could like deliver a message or anything like that. And I don't really see why an angel would take over a person, like a human being's body, unless they wanted to do something. And if the angel is wanting to do something, then they're not acting as per se, per the books, the angel should be acting, because they're trying to exert their physical will on the physical world, which I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to be doing. So from that standpoint, if they take over a human so that they can enact their will on the world, then that angel is less of an angel and more of a demon, because in my belief system, an angel might try to guide a person in the right direction, but because of the entity of energy that an angel is, it's not going to enforce its will on humanity. Whereas demons, that's their whole deal, is enforcing their will on humanity.
Well, and maybe that's their gray period where, fallen angels exist. And there are fallen angels that are not necessarily
bad, but that's how they become bad by
the rules.
Right, because they're enacting their will, and by enacting their will on the human world for whatever the reason is, they have now
gone against
yeah,
which is what. So the whole angels falling is such a controversial topic for me, because sometimes it's like, should they really have fallen for that? You know what I mean? It's like Galadriel is technically fallen, or somebody that is not in the graces of God. But it's like you said, did he get distracted because he had to? It's like Judas.
But I mean, it's like, I don't even think Lucifer's that bad of a guy. Like, let's be honest. Like, he's not. He was just like, hey, God, what about us? And now he's the bad guy. I know our Christian listeners are probably like, wow, Amber.
Well, I think the problem was like, Lucifer was like, okay, God's not really like paying attention to us right now. So like, we need to get together and make this fucker listen. And God was like, oh, you're raising a rebellion against me. So it wasn't just Lucifer who fell, it was multiple.
Well, right. No, but I just mean, I don't think that he was the bad guy.
Right.
Like, he wasn't like, he was just like, hey, buddy, you have us do all the work. Like, shouldn't we get your love?
Right. And that brings me
truly, to I know that's an oversimplification.
Well, it brings me to Supernatural again. I just gotta like, there's a fucking scene where God, and do you think God could possess a person? I think so. If Lucifer can possess a person, I think God can.
I absolutely do.
I think both would destroy the vessel.
I do
both
think
are
that.
true. Like,
I think that. I think if you get possessed by God because God needs you to do a task for him, no offense, God's kind of an asshole. He don't give a shit about
it's the same with,
he's gonna destroy you. He's using you. You're going to come out of it insane.
Just like Lucifer would be using you, which is,
Yeah, exactly.
So, but
I think Lucifer would probably destroy your body. I think God would destroy your mind.
I can see that.
That's just my personal belief based on like this.
So there's a scene where God and Lucifer are having a conversation. Finally, after all of these years, they're having some therapy session, and like Lucifer's just like, I feel like you could listen to me and be less like godly, the Lord.
Stop
That'd be
being
great.
a dick about it.
And Lucifer, and God's like, well, I am the Lord. And then Lucifer's like, I can't have this conversation with him. He's gonna say
Right?
there's no point in fucking talking. Like,
I get that, because it's also like, I get Lucifer's point of view. Like, we do all the work. You're God.
and he disappeared.
Just like, I'm sorry.
Like, yeah, no, it was hilarious. It really was funny how they did that. Like, but I do like the depiction of Lucifer, and I do like, because Lucifer comes to Carthage, Missouri.
Yeah.
And that's where he raises or he I think he starts Armageddon or something like that. Like, so the devil was in my town.
Yeah.
You know, down the road from me at that
Devil went down to Georgia,
like,
and then he popped over to Carthage.
at that specific park is where he did that. And which is why I think those witches have decided to, you know, like, oh,
That makes sense. That makes a lot more sense now.
But yeah, it was really cool. So anyway,
so you know, exorcisms still happen today. They happen regularly, especially in other countries, but they still happen even in our country, because the diocese like waffles on that shit. You know what I mean? They believe in Satan. They don't believe in Satan. Exorcisms are not real. They have their own exorcist who claims to have done like over 100,000 exorcisms in his life, which I
saw that it was 160 something.
okay, yeah, and that's where I go with, I believe in exorcisms. I believe some of those were probably real. I don't believe that he did 160,000 exorcisms. However, when you read more into where those 160,000 exorcisms come from, he talks about, well, some people I exorcise every day for years. Like, it's not a long exorcism, it's very short. So basically, it's like little counseling sessions. You know what I mean? And at the same time, at least the current era Catholic Church is very cognizant of mental health issues.
Yes.
They're also cognizant of the fact that sometimes the exorcism can help in the mental health. In the movie, The Pope's Exorcist, there's this, it opens with this kid who's he's possessed and he's speaking English and he doesn't know English. And the father's like, okay, does he have a TV? Yeah, we have a TV. Okay. Does he watch TV that's in English? I'm sure. Okay. So he goes and he's like talking to the kid, and the kid's just saying stuff that would be in like pop culture exorcism stuff. So he has already decided that it was a mental health thing. But he pretends to exorcise the kid because he thinks that's gonna be what needs to happen to get the kid to stop being like, I'm possessed by a demon, and literally brings in a sacrificial animal.
Oh God. Okay, that's a little far, guys. We're just pretending.
I think this is actually based on a true story, though. This part, I think this part, like, because the rest of the movie, don't think it's based on a true story. This part, I think this is what's like. I think this one happened. So he gets the kid to be like, he's like, you can't possess me. You can't possess anything else. Like, this is him to the kid. And he's like, you can't possess that pig over there. He's just, I can.
Can you imagine real? And it's just some kid fucking around. Like,
so the kid's like, yo, I'm in the pig now, whatever. And so he has the pig shot, and now the kid's fine.
oh yeah, he's like, oh thank God. I'm actually like that poor child is traumatized.
Well, I say kid, he's like a teenager.
Oh,
like
okay.
elder teenager.
Like, can you imagine like a
definitely.
5-year-old like,
yeah,
it's gone.
I have never played make believe in it. I don't know. I just had to mention that because I thought it was very interesting that the exorcists themselves believe in like small exorcisms as well as big ones, and exorcising the same person repeatedly over and over and over again. And it just makes me think of TV evangelists. It really does. Because they're like, come up on stage and bam, the devil's out of you. You know? I don't know. Can
Dude, I saw a video of this they were doing the Passion of Christ play, and this grandma was behind her grandson who was dragging the cross, right? Whipping the shit out of him with a fucking belt. She was not playing. Like, she's
like, carry that cross, you motherfucker.
I know, like, she was mad.
Dude.
I don't know, but
Like,
everybody in
that
the,
kid was in trouble.
I know everybody in the like sections were like, and it was his grandma, so like he had to get in trouble
he
or
did
something.
something.
Oh my god!
I mean, I'm not saying anybody deserved that.
No,
but she
but-
was mad about something.
They're like, what the fuck?
You're like, oh, get an F on your report card. You're
Right.
gonna be a doctor, I said.
Anyway, we are coming up on over an hour-long episode, which is awesome.
Yeah,
so
I figured exorcisms.
I mean, it was. So we want to wrap it
but
up.
we also got way off track.
We totally
Yeah.
did. We started talking
yeah.
about like, well, no, we talked about Smittler being possessed.
Right, yeah, that was
So that's
I
on topic.
am gonna throw out there though, if you haven't seen The Exorcism of Emily Rose,
Is it
It's got-
scary?
it very.
It is.
I think it's also based on a true story about a girl that was like they were trying to exorcise her. I don't know. I've seen that movie like a
It's
billion
totally
times.
based on a true story.
Yeah, and it's the priest is on trial for murder, and Laura Linney is his. Yeah, Laura Linney
they
is his
starve her?
defendant.
I feel
No,
like
I don't think it's they starved her. It's that basically the courts are saying like she needed mental health care. You shouldn't have been doing what you were doing, and he was like, I never told her to stop taking medicine. You know, like I'm her religious, whatever. I don't know. I don't remember the whole plot line, but it's a really good movie. And it's an exorcism movie that's outside of like The Exorcist,
yeah,
right. Whatever. But it's really good standalone. It is. And I just wanted to throw that out there because it's got Dexter's sister in it. And I'm rewatching Dexter right now. So.
We already gave a shout out to our patrons.
Yes. So
if you want to follow us on the socials, you can find us on Threads, Facebook, and Instagram at Witches Talking Tarot.
You can like and subscribe and comment anything you'd like on the platform that you're listening or watching on. And you can find us on X at Classiest Witches because we are the classiest witches you know. So thanks for coming to sit with us. That was fun. Button issues.
Just a bunch of hocus pocus.
I'm Maddie.
I'm Amber. And we're Witches Talking Tarot.
We are the weird optimistic.
I get soft like a Santa snubble. Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble. Sam.
Wow.